Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Well, afternoon. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Hope all is well. Still got some trying to connect. So let's give them a couple more seconds.
My pneumonia coming back. Ooh,
Oh, no.
I almost didn't come to class.
Well, take that time out if you need it. I want you to get
No,
better.
as slow as I am, I need to learn all I can.
Let's see. Looks like everybody's in. Okay, so we are 1:30, right? We have two sections left that we're going to talk about. We did 10.6. So we're starting here with 10.7 today. We'll do 10.7 to 10.8. And we'll be done with chapter 10. So sales tax, commission, and discount is 10.7. So this first one, what is the sales tax on a jacket priced at $425? The sales tax rate is 6%. All right. So I'm going to calculate the sales tax. So we see here in the purple, we have our sales tax formula. In order to calculate the sales tax, you're just going to take the tax rate, which in our case is 6%, and multiply it to the original price. And then if you want to find a sales price, we take that sales tax that we just calculated and add it to the original price. Excuse me, and add it to the original price. All right. So let's go about doing this. So to find the sales tax, 0.06 times 425. That gives us $25.50. And then to find the sales price, we take that $25.50 and add it to the 425, which is $450.50. That'll be our sales price. All right, any problems, any questions? Or we go to the next one?
You multiplied it 0.06 times 425.
Mm-hmm. All right. So the next one, Joe's commission rate is 24%. What is the commission from the sale of $16,500 worth of windows. So here's our formula. You want to calculate the commission. You do your commission rate times the sale price. All right, so calculate the commission. That's 0.24 times the 16,500. So we expect Joe to make $39.60 of commission.
Professor, what section we on right now?
10.7.
10.7. Thank you, sir.
No problem. All right. So everybody good with this problem?
Yes.
All right, so this one takes us back to sales tax. Sales tax is $50 on the purchase of a dining room set for $12.50. Find the tax rate. So this time they want us to find the tax rate. Remember, before they gave us the tax rate and asked us to calculate the sales tax. This time they want us to find the tax rate when they give us the sales tax and the original price. So we're going back to this formula right here. Sales tax equal to tax rate times the original price. So I'll give you a chance to write that down. All right. So we plug in the pieces that we know and use a variable for what we don't know. So the sales tax is $50. The tax rate is what we're trying to find. So that's, I call that X. And then original price is $12.50. Now to solve for the tax rate, we divide both sides by $12.50. And X is equal to 0.04, or in other words, 4%. So math lab will let you know which one they want, whether they want the decimal or the percentage. Any problems with that one? Make sure we're okay.
Need a few seconds, write it down. Please write it down.
Not a problem.
Let me see what did you do there. X, so X is the 1250.
Say it again now.
I said I see up here X is the 1250.
Well, X is now. Let me see. Make sure I understand what you're saying. Because right here is X times 1250.
Okay,
Yeah, that's a parentheses, because right here, the formula is the tax rate times the original price. I don't know what my tax rate is. So that's why I call it that X, and my original price is 1250.
okay, okay. Wait a minute. I got lost now. So that's 50 over 1250 equals.
So I got a question.
Mm-hmm.
So you say if it says find the sales rate, we divide it,
You're going to end up dividing, yes.
we're gonna end up dividing it. But
Mhm.
in the first one, you multiply. What I'm trying to figure out is how do we know when to divide?
Well,
Okay.
it depends on the setup. Now, in the other one, they gave us the tax rate and the original price. There was no dividing needed because I was just multiplying those two numbers together. This time they gave us the tax, the sales tax, and the original price, and this was the piece that was missing. So it's all about what did they give you. Before, this was the piece that was missing. So all you did was multiply these two numbers together. But this time, this is the piece that's missing. So we have these two, and so we have to solve for the tax rate.
Okay.
So it's all
So-
about. Mhm.
How we get the 0 point, what do we actually do to get the 0.04?
Divide both sides by 1250 because that's what was beside the X.
Okay, we divided both sides by 1250. Okay,
Mhm.
jot that down. Divide both sides by 1250. Note to myself. Okay. And that crosses out this one, which leaves that X. And if I
Mhm.
divide that's divided that 50 into 1250 or 1250 into 50.
That's 1250 into 50. Mhm. You would do, if you put in a calculator, it would be 50 divided by 1250.
Okay. Okay.
Excuse me.
Mhm. All right. Can we scroll up? Mighty good. Okay, next one is discount. I think my math left us so the problem this way. They'll give you a little chart that says find the missing values. They give you the mark price, the rate of discount. They want you to find the discount and then find the sales price. So mark price is the same thing as what we've been calling the original price. And there are our formulas for discount. So the discount amount is going to be the original price times the discount rate. And we have the sales price is going to be original price minus that discount amount. You guys a chance to write that down.
Could you explain that again while we're writing it down?
Explain what again?
What you just said, whatever it was you just said. I was so busy
Oh,
focused on what
I didn't say
was-
nothing. All I did was say what was on the screen. I didn't get into no explanation. Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't get into explanation. All I did was just I just repeated what was written. That's all. Reiterated what was written.
Okay, so can I ask you this before you go up
Mm-hmm.
to find out which one would I divide or multiply? So in this instance, will we be dividing?
Oh, you going past the screen? Let's get let's
No,
get to
that's,
it.
I'm sorry. I didn't know if I
Yeah.
was home, how would I know to do it?
Well, you're gonna put the pieces in the right spot. So your original price would go right here, which is 1920, and then your rate, your discount amount would go right here. So it's all about putting these in the right spot according to where the formula tells you, and that will tell you whether you're going to multiply or divide. So this is your discount rate. Your rate is always your percent. That goes right here, and then your discount amount. I mean, your not discount amount. Your original price goes right here. So, but I'm giving everybody a chance to write before I scroll down.
Okay.
All right, can we scroll? Somebody still copying?
Yeah, 1 minute.
Okay.
You could go ahead.
All right, sounds good. So going back to Ms. Braxton's question, now you got to match up what piece goes with which according to the formula. So my original price is 1920. That goes right here. My discount rate, 25% is 0.25. That goes right here. So that's what we have right here. So that tells you need to multiply original price times the discount rate gives you discount amount. All right, which is 480. So make sure we're okay with the first piece, $4.80. That's how we get the discount amount. And that's what will go in this first box right here. And then if you want to find the sales price, you plug in to this formula. Sales price is equal to original price minus the discount amount. We just found the discount amount. They gave us the original price, which was 1920. And so that's why we do 1920 minus 480, which is 1440.
All right, so let me give me a chance to look at this and process it. So if I go back up to my chart, what we just found was the discount amount, which would have been the first block. And so that 480 will go in that block. And then it's asking me to find the sale price, and the 1440 will actually go in the spot where the sale price is at.
Yes.
Block the sale price.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the sale price is 19. So I have to go back up to. I like to be able to really see it. Then I can know. Scroll back up just a smidge for me. Just a smidge for me. Okay, so it's giving me the mark price. Okay, which is considered the sale price. No. The mark price is the cost that it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm taking the discount amount.
Which was 14.
Wait a minute. So in order to get the discount amount, I'm gonna do okay. I'm gonna times how much it costs by what the discount rate is, and that gets me the answer. Okay, I got it now. I mean, I heard you saying it, but I had to look at it, process. Okay, I'm good now. I see what's going on.
Okay, all right. Right. Oh, those are only formulas in that section? Okay. Any questions on this before we go to the next formula? So this one deals with those three scenarios, this section. So you're talking about sales, commission, and discount. And they're gonna
Okay.
lean on those formulas.
Okay.
All right. So let's introduce a few more formulas. I know y'all can't wait to get some more formulas. Here we're looking at 10.8, simple interest and compound interest. You're most definitely gonna have to use your calculator on this compound interest formula. So just give you a heads up. Unless you're just really nice, nice with the math. With your simple interest formula, the first one, to calculate your simple interest, P times R times T. I is your interest earned, P is your principal deposit, R is your rate. Don't forget to put it in decimal. And then T is your time in years. All right, so you see that our time is in years. So you're gonna have to convert your measurement to years if it's not in years before you do your calculation. So if we had 24 months, we know that's 2 years. The way we would calculate that is because we would divide it by 12 because there's 12 months in a year. That will give us 2 years. So you keep that same thought process no matter whether it's divisible by 12 or not. So if I had 13 months, then I will write 13 over 12 for my years. If it was weeks, 37 weeks, I would put 37 over 52 because there are 52 weeks in a year. And then if we had days, I would use 370, even though there's 365 days in the year, 366 on a leap year, we use 360 for days. That's called banker's rule. Yep. So that's what you would do to convert it from months to years, weeks to years, days to years.
I see you telling, well, once you get to the 13 months with 13 over 12, how much is that?
It's not necessary. You just plug that in the calculator.
Just plug it in the calculator and it'll total it up for me.
Yeah. That's why I left these like that. I didn't worry about going any further.
Okay, which is actually a year and 1 month, right? And actually, okay,
Okay,
yeah.
so it's 37 weeks. So it's 37 weeks over 50. You're saying that's 52 weeks in a year? 52 weeks over. Oh, okay, I get it. I'm sorry. Good Lord.
It's all good. But yeah, but do not put a year and 1 month for this. You have to convert it to a decimal if you want to go any further, but don't put 1 year and 1 month. That will mess it up.
Okay, when you say banker's rule, so they don't go by 365 days, which we actually consider a year as 365 days.
Right. Some say the 5 days are gone because like national holidays. Some say it's just for easier calculation, but that's just banker's rule.
Okay, let me note that.
Now, if you see them say use 365 specifically in the directions, then you do what the directions tell you. But normally it's the 360.
you said don't put 1 month and one,
Yeah, she asked me, was this 1 year and 1 month?
Right.
And I said, yes, it is. But for calculation, you don't want that. You just want it in years. So you just leave it like that.
oh, I'm up here trying to figure out how to get 365 days plus.
Well, y'all just right there. That's where you would stop. That's good enough. All right, so here we want to use that. It says find the simple interest after 2 years on $500 at an interest rate of 12%. So you write down your givens first. So P, the principal, your deposit is 500. Which one do I want to do? R, 12%, convert that to a decimal, it's 0.12. Amount of time is T for 2 years. Then you go ahead and plug those into the formula. PRT. Oh no, what happened? Oh, my bad. So it's PRT, P times R times T, 500 times 0.12 times 2, give you 120.
So we just multiply all those together
Mm-hmm.
to get find the simple interest. So 120 is the interest rate we paying what per month?
Yep. Well, no, that's how much will be earned in the year. So this could be an interest rate of a bank. Let's say you deposit $500. How much money will be earned after those 2 years? Now I said a year, I meant 2 years. After those 2 years would be $120.
That will occur
Mhm.
over that 2 years.
Yeah, over that 2 year span. Mhm. You don't believe me? Is that?
Yeah, I believe you. I'm trying to process it.
I'm
So
telling you.
Is there something specifically you're not understanding, or?
No,
Okay.
it's just that I fear I'll forget all of this because I'm learning so many principles at one time. You
Well,
know what I'm
this
saying?
is what you want to do. You guys are writing the notes,
Yeah.
Right.
so you don't have to remember. You just need to remember where you wrote it, right? So,
Okay.
True.
so that's the first thing.
Mark 10.8.
So right, you want to remember where you wrote it. So whether it's 10.7 or 10.8, you should be, you wrote it somewhere in your notes. So second, don't lean on remembering why, lean on remembering the process. You have formulas right here that's telling you what to do.
Okay.
You see what I mean? And I think that's what we getting caught up in is, I think you're getting caught up in the why, and I think you're getting caught up in some background information that you don't need. Just like we were talking about the calculator thing and the decimals and moving the decimals. Now just throw it in the calculator right now. You know what I mean? Like, so when it comes to this right here, it's telling you if you want to calculate the simple interest, take the principal, the amount that you're depositing, take the rate that they said that it would give you and how many years you're going to leave in the account, multiply those together, and that'll tell you how much money will occur over that span of time.
But if I read, when I read that,
Mhm.
What is in there that's telling me, you know how they have the little sign, the little what's the word I'm looking for? They have the little hint words in there that tells you what like of or is.
Well, you got to go back to this right here. So you're going to have, I is going to represent interest. You're going to have a deposit, a rate, and a time. That's your PRT. So you have to connect the words. These are the words right here connecting you to those symbols.
But nothing tells me to multiply them though.
This
That's what I'm asking.
right there, PRT. Remember we talked about if anything's right up against it, that means they multiply to each other. This is 5x, which means 5 times x. XY means x times y. So that goes back to just the representation of what does PRT mean. P times R times T is what this represents.
I better put that in there.
And then going back to what Miss Braxton was asking, if I had
Times
5x and I want to solve for x, this tells me I need to divide because I'm trying to find x, but I cannot find x if 5 is still attached to it. So that lets me know when I need to divide.
That's a
Oh.
problem I've noticed I'm having in the math lab. I mean, it comes back once, of course, I go back and look at an example, but I still can't seem to grasp that concept of when to multiply and when to divide.
Mhm. So we may have to, just like I mentioned before, we may have to set up a session
Okay.
outside of class so we can sit on it because that stuff right there, if they write that, they assume you know that means multiply. You see what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
same thing here. If I go here and I want to solve for R, that means they assume you know that means you need to divide both sides by P in order to get R by itself. So there's some things, there's some things that happened before this section that they expect you to already know. You see what I mean?
Know this. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to set up a session.
Mhm.
Good Lord.
You know how to find me. I'm not hard to find.
Thank you, sir.
No problem, no problem. So, but are we good with this before we go to the next one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got that one.
Okay, cool. So a college graduate borrowed $2,400 at 10% simple interest for 8 months to buy a used car. Find the simple interest he paid. All right.
Excuse me, sir. I gotta talk to my doctor.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. So first thing you want to do, just like before, is to establish, I want this to be in blue, all of your givens. All of your givens, extract all of your given pieces of information from the problem. So the principal, remember that's the amount borrowed or the amount deposited, that's your $2,400. Your rate is 10%, converted to a decimal, that means move your decimal 2 places to the left, that's 0.1. And then your time is 8 months. And remember, we need our information, our time to be in years. So we put that 8 over 12. Now, if you wanted to reduce it, I went ahead and did so. That's 2/3. You could have used the 8 over 12. It doesn't matter because once you plug it into the calculator, you still get the same result. So whether you use 8 over 12 or 2/3, it doesn't matter. Now, if you're doing it by hand, you might want to go ahead and use the 2/3 because that'll be a lower numbers to deal with.
Hmm? Which equals 8 over 12.
One.
Mhm.
So it would be.
Problems with the substitution. Any questions?
PRT, which is principal.
You say move the decimal 2 places to the left. So
Mhm.
if I move, look at the decimal, 10%. One. I don't see any move but once.
Well, the decimal is right here,
The decimal is right there.
and you move 1, 2.
One, two. Oh, I wrote it wrong there.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Professor. So when we plug in this into the calculator, now I don't really understand how you put the 2/3 into the calculator.
So that would be another offline session we had to have and talk about. So I had to see what kind of calculator you have and what would be the easiest way of doing it. But since
I
this is
got-
all multiplication, you can do 2 divided by 3, then times 0.1 times 2400. And that still should give you 160.
Divide 2 by 3. Okay, let me
Yeah, that's what this is, 2/3.
divide 2 by 3. See, that's the thing, is remembering all these daggone. Now I got a scientific calculator. I don't know what in the heck to do with that thing. I don't know what in the world that is. That looks like a daggone computer robot or something to me.
So yeah, I can most definitely write out, how to use and stuff, but I just need to see it and stuff like that. So once again, this should be one of those times where, we can set aside and I can show you how to use it. Yeah, it's not a problem.
I'm gonna have to stay in math lab on this section here.
Mhm.
It does pretty good with explaining it to you though, to show you exactly how to do it too. So
Mhm.
a lot of things I can pick up that I maybe didn't get a chance to really go over as much as I would like in class. Once I do it on math lab, they'll just
Mhm.
let me keep doing practice questions, which I learned from last year. Practice is how you really get it. You just gotta keep doing it.
Pretty much, yeah. All right. So notice I put that this is a continuation. The next question says find the total amount paid for the loan. So the total amount is just your principal plus your interest. So we had already established our principal was 2,400. We just found our interest to be 160. So we add them together, that's 2,560. All right, are we good to go up? All right. So compound interest. We have A equal to P times 1 plus R over N equal,
7.8, I mean 10.8.
mhm, same one, yep. This one did simple interest and compound interest. So, and that N times T is an exponent. N times T is an exponent. So A is your total amount or future amount, depends on what the book call it. But it's your total amount earned or total amount that's owed after a certain amount of time. P is your principal, like before. R is still the same, your rate, your decimal. T is your time in years, and N is the number of compounding periods per year. So how many times the bank or whoever it is going to hit that interest rate or do that interest rate, apply the interest rate to your account.
Huh? What's that? That's R times T. What's that? R times T as an exponent?
N times T. R is over the N.
R is over the N, okay.
R over N. N times T as your exponent.
Okay. Ooh, they getting deep now.
Real deep.
Trying to be funny. I thought I got this stuff here. Oh no. I ain't trying to get go deep on me now. Okay, N times T is my exponent. Okay. Okay. So the rate is gonna always be a decimal?
It's your percentage. Yep. You'll convert it to a decimal.
Oh, jot that down.
Mhm.
Which is, so rate is always the percent, it's always percentage. Guess I
Mhm.
should add that down a couple of pages back.
All right, you scroll up. So now your compounding periods per year. Now, they're very rarely going to give you a number for that. They're going to give you a keyword. And so your keyword will dictate what the number will be. So if it's annually, n is going to be equal to 1, semi-annually, n is equal to 2, quarterly, n is equal to 4, monthly, n is equal to 12, weekly, n is equal to 52, and daily, n is equal to 360. And so banker's rule is in effect just like before.
Number. Shoot, when they start talking them numbers of me at the bank now, I don't know what they're talking about. Oh, that makes sense.
All right, can we scroll up? All right. $1,800 is invested at 2% interest compounded annually. Find the total amount after 3 years. All right. So once again, extract the information that they give you. So P, 1,800. Your rate is 2%, so that's 0.02. Years, it's going to be 3. And then it says compounded annually, so that means n is equal to 1. All right. So now you plug it into the formula. And once again, you are going to need to know how to use your calculator unless you're going to start raising stuff to a certain power, and then other than that, this is how you would put in the calculator. This is a way that you can use your exponents using that, what we call a hat, or sometimes people call it a caret. But depending on the type of calculator you have, you can put it in the calculator just like this. And you'll get the right answer, which is 1910.17.
Wait a minute, so you would put it in the calculator which way? At 2%, divided by 1800?
No, this is 18 times 1 plus 0.02 divided by 1, and then
Oh,
1
Lord.
times 3. Yeah, so you got to use the formula. This is the formula right here. And so this is PRTN. So you have to plug them in according to where you see the formula. So P is 1800. 1 is a part. You know, if you go back to the formula, 1 is, where is it? Where is it? Right here. 1 is there. So that's a part of the formula. So we're not talking about that. We're talking about for P, PRN and T. So P is 1800, R is 0.02, N is 1, N is 1, and then T is 3. And so that's how I got this right here. This is something. There you go. All right. Questions on what we did here? Like I said, it's about following the formula, and you plug in your values into the formula.
Okay, Professor.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. That's looking a little funny to me right here. Where that it equals 18. Then you have your 1 plus 0.02. Is there a backslash there?
That represent in the calculator. That's how a lot of them show it, the division bar. So that's R divided by N right here. So in the calculator, a lot of times it's shown by the forward slash.
And how did you get that 1 times 3 out of N times T?
Well, N is 1, and then T is 3. Is that what you're saying?
Made good daggone sense. Okay, so now let's get back to the this part here where, so what are we doing with this 0.02 divided by 1?
Yeah, because that's R and N. So R and N.
So which would be what?
What
One
do you? Okay, so are you asking me what the value is? I'm trying to figure out
what is the answer to that?
The answer. Well, you don't need the answer to this. You need the answer to this.
Okay.
And the answer to that whole thing is this.
Which I got to understand this that whole thing in order to get to that. I got to figure out how do I put that in the calculator. So I'm gonna have to have a calculator class.
Yeah, with me and you. Yeah.
Because I really
Because I'm trying to figure out how you put it in the calculator. I keep doing it.
And the reason why I say individually, because everybody don't have the same calculator. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? So I'm gonna be taking up, well, I think I got like 20 people up here. I don't want to take up 20 people's time. Well, really 19 for your individual calculator. And I ain't trying to say I got 20 different calculators out there, but it could be. And so now they looking at me work on one calculator is not beneficial to the class. You know what I mean? So that's why I say, and then that way you can ask whatever questions you want to ask and take all the time you want to take, and you don't have to feel rushed. You know what I mean? So I would rather it be done that way so that we can make sure that we get all of your questions out and make sure you have understanding. But if you're talking about values and stuff of individual pieces of it, then you I think you're taking too much time out and you're missing the focus. The focus is the value of this whole thing. And that's your answer. Now, if you were doing it by hand, that would be a legitimate question. You see what I'm saying? Like if you, because if you're doing it by hand, then you have to do order of operations. You have to multiply this by itself, divide this, add it to this, then multiply it to this. Wait, hold on, not multiply yet. I would have to take the exponent first, apply it to that, and then multiply it to this last. So you have to go through your order of operations. And I'm not requiring anybody to do that. I wouldn't even suggest it because this exponent can get very high anytime they feel like it because they believe that you're going to use a calculator. You see what I mean? So yeah, I wouldn't suggest trying to do it by hand at all. Just like right here,
Some sessions.
pretty much, because like right here, the exponent is going to involve t, 10 years. So if I put a 10 as an exponent, that's not 5 times 10. That's 5 times, times itself 10 times. So you don't want that problem really. So you do want to make sure you know how to use your calculator efficiently.
Mhm.
So,
I ain't know I want to need a calculator class. Jeez.
but you don't really need a whole class. We just need to sit back and talk about how your calculator is set up and how to use these formulas. So we wouldn't have to go through, it wouldn't take long because I would write out what the steps that you need to do it. And then from there, you would just have to follow those steps whenever you see this type of problem.
Professor, my grandbaby in the 4th grade just taught me how to make the negative sign come up in front of your numbers on the calculator. I did not know how to do that. My 4th grade grandson showed me.
You mess around, he might know how to do this too. You go ahead and
Probably do once a grad. Shoot, now you can't do that.
All right, let's see. How many more do I have of these? Okay, so this is the last type of problem. Okay. So we got $4,000 is invested at 5.3% compounded quarterly for 10 years. Find the total amount at the end of 10 years. So we got, once again, you want to extract the information from the problem, the given information, so that you can calculate accordingly. So the amount, the deposit, or whatever it is that you owe, the 4,000 is that's going to be your P, which is 4,000 in this case. Your rate, 5.3% converted to a decimal, 0.053. T is 10 in years. And then quarterly is going to be 4 for N. All right. You ready to plug it into the formula? Go to the formula again. And you just plug it in accordingly. That's 4,000 times 1 plus 0.053 divided by 4. Then your exponent is 4 times 10. So that's going to end up being 40 for us. So like I said, you don't want to put yourself in a position in which you're trying to raise something to the 40th power, because you will be there for a while. But once you plug all of that in your calculator, you get 6,772 and 12 cents.
It equals 4,000. In a minute. Professor, why you keep putting that look? I noticed you got that little
Okay.
yeah, right there.
That, in your calculator, that's the symbol you look for. That's the button you look for to raise it to an exponent. Some people have something like this. That would be a button you would look for. Some people have something like this. Like every calculator is different, but this caret or this hat raises it to an exponent.
Oh, gotcha. Didn't know what that was. 6772. And whenever it's going to be a division in a quote, we're going to use that line, because we've never used, this is the first time I've seen us use that little line either behind the 0.053, then the line and 4.
Right. The reason why this is the first time, because this is the first time that you don't have a choice but to use your calculator. And a lot of times in your calculator, that's how they use that symbol for your division sign. For those who can just put the put all of this on the calculator screen, most of the time it's not this, but it's this forward slash.
Okay.
So
That's
I'm really trying to emphasize calculator terminology and calculator symbols. Because like I said, you don't want to have to raise something to the 40th power, because the only one you're going to be cool with is 1 to the 40th power, because that's just one. But if you put any other number there, 2 to the 40th power is a problem, because you're talking about 2 times itself 40 times. That number will get very large. So that's why I'm trying to really emphasize, calculator symbolism and using a calculator. All right, questions? Any questions? Make sure we're okay. Anything, anybody? Everybody good? All right. So it's just me talking about calculator stuff. So what you guys need to do now is get into this stuff and see if you have any questions. Some questions may not have been generated today because we were just talking about it for the first time. But next class, I'll open the floor for whatever questions you guys have. That's it for chapter 10. It's basically about plugging into these formulas and making sure you know how to use your calculator. So
Bingo, that's the problem. I don't know how to use it.
so
I have my grandson show me when he get out of school.
So most definitely is going to be imperative to your success.
Okay.
Finishing out this chapter, at least, knowing how to use your calculator.
So, Professor,
yes, ma'am.
do you think it's better for me to learn to use my scientific calculator or just a regular calculator? I don't know what I bought this thing for.
Now when you say scientific, are you saying you're not saying graphing, right? Are you saying graphing calculator or scientific calculator?
Scientific.
Yeah, the scientific, most definitely. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But this thing looked like it's it actually got, I guess if I play with it, I might figure it out, because it actually got the exponent signs and.
And what will help me too is that you take a picture of your phone, or not your phone, taking a picture of your calculator and emailing that to me, or at least telling me what model you have and stuff like that, so that when I can go look it up and see what buttons you have and what's accessible to you. Also, if you go to YouTube, for most calculators, if you YouTube your calculator, the model and everything, there's somebody who's talking about it and how to use it. And they give you walkthroughs and everything on how to use it. So
and the model. Let me see.
So yep. So let's see. Today is the 9th. We want to put the 27th. I think that'd be enough time, right? February 27th. Get chapter 10 done. So that's not this Sunday, it's not next Sunday, but that's 3 Sundays.
27.
Yeah, for chapter 10's content.
That's just for chapter 10, 5,
yeah, 10? Just chapter 10.
So the first one is 2 and 3, then we jump to 10.
And then we go back to 4.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. So let me see. So we're gonna have chapter.
I'm just looking up some stuff. Yeah, 4 or 5. All right. So any other questions? Any other questions before we close out today? So next class, I'll open the floor for questions, whatever questions you guys have, whatever questions been generated over the weekend. And we'll go from there.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. So you guys have a great weekend. Be safe And I will see you on Tuesday. No,
All right.
Monday.
You too.
Monday. See you on Monday. Y'all take care.
Thank you, Professor. You have a
No
good
problem.
day.
Thank you. the
Thank
same.
you. Thank you so much.
All right, y'all shoot me that email if you need me.
See ya.
I sure will.
Take care, man.
Okay, well, I got one I tried. Maybe I'm in the wrong one.
Hmm?
Wait a minute. I just